there was a time in my life where I felt completely lost. Like my life was missing something essential. And I had this feeling in the pit of my stomach. It was almost like a hunger, but it wasn't for physical hunger. It was like an energetic, spiritual longing. And I felt off track and disconnected from a lot of areas in my life. And all of that shifted for me. And when I embodied my soul purpose, when I fully stepped into my soul purpose and began to live a fully soul-aligned life, that feeling went away. What I instead experienced was fulfillment, deep joy, so much more energy, alignment, the right people that were soul-aligned flowing into my life, soul gifts coming online, abundance, daily gratitude and inspiration, right? Living a life that is aligned with your soul purpose is so powerful. It's life-changing. And I get it. People come to me and they say, it's the number one question people ask in channeling, what's my soul purpose? What's my soul purpose? And, let me tell you, it's a big difference between like knowing it consciously and living it. Because for many of us, we have to go through a journey to become like, if 15 years ago, maybe a little bit longer because I had already had my spiritual journey. 20 years ago, you said to me, I was 10 by then. So I'm not a very good example, but let's just go back maybe even like 5 years for yourself. If you said to yourself, hey, you're going to be doing this, whatever you're doing now, would you believe it? Would you feel excited? Would that kind of feel a little bit disconnected? Or maybe go back 10 years, right? So sometimes we know it. And so it might be like, okay, well, great, this is your soul purpose. And then we don't always connect to it. We're kind of like, okay, great, I know that logically, but I'm not embodying it. Yeah, because the embodiment process is very different to just cognitively knowing your soul purpose, right? It's a journey. But when people ask me, Athina, how can I know my soul purpose? There are a couple of different ways to know it. The first one is to go see a psychic or a channel that you trust, like that you know is good. Ask them about it. 2, ask Spirit for guidance. Really, every single day, wake up, say, Spirit, show me. I'm ready to be shown. Show me my soul purpose. And Spirit's going to give you breadcrumbs, right? They're going to give you those signs, synchronicities that you're going to be like, that's interesting. I just met someone who was a womb healer, and now I found a book about womb healing, and now I've turned on my laptop and I've just seen 2 ads for a womb healer. Like, you got to look for the synchronicities, and that's going to come from your own intuitive and trust. And then the third one, which was the path that I took, which is through learning to channel, right? And in becoming a channeler ourselves, we get to ask these questions. So for me, when I began living a life that was aligned with my soul purpose, it was through channeling. Because before that, there was a bit of a state of confusion. Like, what am I meant to do here? What am I meant to do with these gifts, with the spiritual stuff? Didn't really understand. But when I started channeling and actually tuning in and asking, what am I here to do? What is the work and the purpose and the mission that I'm here to do? And leaning into that and following that and focusing on that, everything began to shift. And what I see with a lot of people is they might have some level of awareness of what they're here to do because it feels good. And many people are soul purpose adjacent, right? Where they're like, kind of one foot in their soul purpose, one foot out. So things are feeling kind of good, but then also a lot is feeling unaligned. You really got to listen to those feelings of like, does it feel unaligned or not? And sometimes like channeling, with channeling, sometimes it can feel like, oh, it's too easy, right? Because it's like, when I started channeling, I was like, okay, well, what's my soul purpose? What am I here to do? Because of course, you want to know that, right? You're like, what's my soul mission? What am I here to do? Okay, great. Now what? Now what? I know I'm here to guide and teach and activate. Now what? And I want to say with soul purposes as well, they're often not very specific. So a lot of people think my soul purpose is going to be like, you are going to teach a womb healing course to help women in their 40s heal after they have given birth. And that is going to help heal the divine feminine on earth and raise the frequency of earth. I've never seen a soul purpose that specific. Normally they're very open, right? It might be like, you're here to help heal the divine feminine, or you're here to activate the divine feminine. And then you'll have specific soul gifts like, oh, and you've got healing, you've got channeling. Okay, great. So I'm here to activate the divine feminine through channeling, through healing. And then you'll have the personality that you've chosen, the skills that you've chosen, the skills that your soul chose to get from your childhood that you chose, and the experiences. And when you combine all of that, you get to then pick the pathway, right? As long as you're fulfilling that soul purpose. That's why when you look at my business, you might say like, Athina's doing a lot of different things. Yeah, but they're all aligned with my soul purpose, because our soul purposes they're not super vague. They're not super specific. And so channeling gives us a clarity around like, this is what my soul purpose is. And then we get to do a bit of a culling and go, I'm releasing everything that is not soul aligned, right? So aligning all life choices with that soul purpose, because all of us have a purpose here, right? You wouldn't be watching this if you didn't have a purpose. You wouldn't have been brought to this video. Many of you have been brought to this video because you needed to be reminded that you have a soul purpose. There is something that you came here to do. And channeling does give us the clarity to know what your soul purpose is. So once I understood from channeling what my soul purpose was, I was able to really have a look at my life and make different choices, right? And go, well, why am I, for me, it was at the time I was like studying psychology as well. And I was like, I'm studying psychology because I don't think there's any other way for me to support people spiritually. Is that actually aligned with my soul purpose? No, it's not. So I left psychology, right? And I started studying other things and taking other paths, but it was in all different areas. So in knowing my soul purpose, it's not as much as what you can bring into your life, which yes, is a big part of it, but actually first, it's the releasing. There were so many things that I released because they were not aligned with my soul purpose. And even for me, when I first learned about my soul purpose and what I'm here to do, I still felt a bit of a disconnect from it. I'm like, that still feels really far away, but that's what I want you to understand. I want you to understand that it's a journey. So even if you like receive your soul purpose and you're like, there's a part of me that feels really right, but also then that feels so far from where I'm at. There's a journey of becoming. A lot of that is actually within the car body, which I talk about in Isis Car. And that's why the car activations are so powerful, because it's the body of your soul and helps the soul come more online and supports the soul embodiment. That's a really powerful process for it. But there is a journey of becoming, right? And that can take, it's different for everyone. I've seen some people know what their learn what their soul purpose is within 3 months. They're fully embodied with it. I have seen that. Other people, I've seen it take them 3 years. It's different for everybody. And it really depends on your willingness to go, if this is my soul purpose, am I willing to show up and make this happen? Even if it feels disconnected, even though I don't know if I'm capable of even doing that. Do I want to show up for it? Am I willing to do what it takes to get there? Yes. Okay, great. So then I need to start releasing what's not aligned with my purpose and start asking myself, is this going to help me embody my purpose deeper? Or is it going to take away and put me on a different path, right? And that might be changes in career, relationships, even daily routines, your mindset, your beliefs, like all of the things. But it is a journey. Knowing it is not embodying it. The main thing that I want you to know is when you are in your soul purpose embodiment, you will feel it. You will feel it. For me, that was the biggest shift. I went from someone who kind of felt like something was always missing, like there was this void and like there was just something that was not there, and I wasn't really fully happy and I wasn't fulfilled at all, to someone who experiences joy every single day, inspiration every single day, fulfillment every single day, right? And the life begins to reflect that. And even now, like there was a period, I think last year, where I think I took like 2 weeks off from work. And at the end of those 2 weeks, there was like this, I want to get back into the service. I want to get back into my purpose. Like it is such a deep desire and a knowing that you can never do anything else, right? The first time, because really like I'm here to be a teacher, right? I'm here to teach, to guide, to share. I'm not here to be like a one-on-one healer. And I did start off my business by doing one-on-one healings and channelings as well. And I remember the first time I ever taught a class, a workshop. It was a one-day event, and there were about 12 women, I think, there. And I remember I taught it, and at the end of the day, I sat with myself and I said, this is it. This is what I was put here for. This is what I was born to do. This is what I'm going to do until the day I die. And it was absolute certainty. And it was this full knowing, and it was a feeling I've never had before in my life. I enjoyed the healing. I enjoyed the channeling. I was good at it. I helped people, but it wasn't the thing. But when I taught, I was like, this is the thing. This, and it was just a knowing, this is what I was put here for. This is what I'm here to do. And so that, and it was a journey to get there, right? Like it was years of healing and channeling before I began teaching. So there's a very intentional journey that we need to go on. And when I was fully in it, like, yes, I did find healing and channeling, of course, fulfilling and inspiring, but there was still this sense of like, and there's something else, and there's something else. But now in my work, I don't have that. I genuinely feel a sense of like full fulfillment and purpose and joy and inspiration. And when you have that feeling and that knowing, and you will, right? It's the same with your relationships. Like they say, when you meet the one, you know, right? It's the same with this. You know. It's the divine fulfillment and alignment. If you've experienced this, let me know in the comments. I'd be super curious. If you do want to learn how to channel, Channeling Spirit Academy doors are open, and I can support you in that and in learning about your soul purpose. I'll post a link down below. Remember to like, subscribe, and thank you so much for being here, beautiful soul.